Mr. Speaker, as you see, there's no plan. When the Prime Minister announced that he would pull Canada's fighter jets out of the combat mission against the jihadist death cult ISIS, there was only two groups that were celebrating that Canada was going to back down: the Liberals and ISIS. Canada should be standing shoulder to shoulder with our allies in this fight. The brave men and women of the Canadian Forces are always willing and able to do the heavy lifting. We must do our part in the fight against ISIS. Why does the Prime Minister want to cut and run from stopping ISIS?
The Honourable Minister of National Defence.
Mr. Speaker, Canada and our allies have stood shoulder to shoulder, and I have stood shoulder to shoulder in combat with our allies. And that's exactly the way I'm going to be planning the next process moving forward, making sure that we have an appropriate plan. I'm going to take the time to make sure that we get this right and take the fight to ISIS. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Selkirk, Interlake, Eastman.
They aren't proposing, Mr. Speaker, that they are going to take the fight to ISIS. They're bringing home and withdrawing from the combat mission. It was just over a year ago that we lost 2 members of our Canadian Armed Forces to attacks carried out by ISIS-inspired terrorists right here in Canada. Over the last few weeks, we witnessed ISIS-orchestrated terrorist attacks in Lebanon, in Egypt, in France, and now the United States. Clearly, ISIS is willing to bring the fight to us. Why won't the Prime Minister take the fight to ISIS? Why does he want to retreat?
The Honourable Minister of National Defence.
Mr. Speaker, I'm glad the member opposite brought this important issue up in terms of the threats to our country. And this is something we need to take very seriously, but we also need to make sure that we identify the right indicators, that we can identify the right threats. When it comes to radicalization, it's a completely different fight. Yes, we need to fight them in their territory, but we also need to be mindful of making sure that we have the right tools to prevent radicalization of our own Canadians in this type of fight. Thank you.